Flight of the orbiter Discovery, and the shuttle has cleared the tower.
Let's go out and have fun.
Roger that, Sally.
Hola.
Hola, how you doing?
I am well. How are you doing?
I'm just I got caught sharing the feed.
Yes.
I'm doing great. And by the way, thank you for doing that intro. I just want to make sure everybody knows that I had nothing to do with that because I am not technically savvy.
Well, last week, we had nothing in the beginning. You never have anything in the beginning, and then you build on it. So, thank you. I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah.
Yes, there's always change. So, hello, guys. It's August 10th. We are in the land of the Leo. I've got Tina on, and I'm excited because other people are logging on, and we want to welcome you to the Escape Reality podcast. I was hoping you would do the podcast part, like podcast.
Podcast.
Yes.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom.
You got to give me a heads up next time. I'm a man, and I don't catch on to things.
No, we're figuring this out as we go. Yeah. So, excuse me. It has been a crazy week. I have noticed so many people really feeling tapped out, like completely extended, exhausted, frustrated, overwhelmed.
I'm one of those people.
Are you?
Yeah, it's been a rough 2 days.
Yeah.
I like my new job, but there are some days I just want to put my head through a wall. And today and yesterday was one of those, or two of those, I guess it would be two of those. But yeah, so I sympathize with those people. And tonight's topic is actually very
timely.
Yeah, escaping reality and how you do it. So we're going to need some audience participation tonight, I think.
Yes. Hello, Kelly. Kelly's here. Thank you, Kelly. So audience participation, yes, if you're tuning in live on our YouTube channel, the new baby YouTube channel, or live on Facebook, we want to welcome you. And we are talking about reality this evening. It really is Tim's idea for the theme, and such a great segue since we evidently made it past the pilot episode, because we never knew how that would last.
Yeah. I'd like to say that they brought us back for a second show, but we're in charge. So, yeah, at least we weren't bad enough that we decided no more. I would like to point out I do have my Potographs thing here. John Cassidy.
Is that the cup?
It's got a little,
Oh, I love that. And you also have
the Potographs sweatshirt, which will be available at Michigan Paracon and other great Paracons across the nation. There's my plug for the evening. It's a very timely subject, and I'm hoping that people will enjoy it and just have a little bit of conversation back and forth about how you escape reality, because sometimes reality is awful. Sometimes it's just plain old awful. Yeah. And you need to find a way to get yourself through that day.
It is difficult for when you start to understand the law of attraction. If you start playing with the universal laws, which I know you're like, don't, this is where Tim and I go, he'd rather joke in the corner, and then I'm like, let me get into your soul. But there are universal laws, and I always tell people, if you were on your roof, okay, forget the roof. If you were on your front porch and you jumped, you'd experience the law of gravity. So whether we see it or not, or believe in it or not, there happens to be a universal law of attraction. And so when you know that like attracts like. We joke about it all the time. Paula Abdul made a song called Opposites Attract. So, God, dating myself. But that's when she was real healthy. But
I was a big Paula Abdul fan as a teenager.
Loved her. I love her now. I love her now, wherever she may be. But
I haven't seen her in a while, but I imagine she's doing well. But yeah, this show isn't about Paula, so I'll let you continue to talk.
Yes. No, and I got so excited because I remembered the dance steps to the movie. To the song.
What's wrong with my eyebrows, first of all?
I don't know.
I get this better camera, and now I'm looking at myself and just critiquing. Tony did give me a different camera, though.
Good.
So, yeah,
Thank you, Tony.
Yeah, he was like, you need to look better. And it kind of hurt my feelings a little bit. But I'm here, and I'm smiling through the pain, April.
It's very good. It's very clear. I don't know how to not reflect in my glasses. I don't know how people do that. If there's like a polish or something. Anywho. Back to reality. What you believe is what you receive. And so many people that watch this are aware of the paranormal field, which means you know about investigating in one way or another. And you know that paranormal investigating is really heavily reliant on evidence, scientific research, in addition to other intuitive things. But so I found a really interesting quote from Einstein. I thought, oh, it's science, then we'll listen to it. And this is where I would love people to know up front before we all get intimate in this show together. We buckle up for the next few years. But science and spirit, at one point, you have to understand everything blends together, always. So Einstein, and if you don't mind, I just wanted to share it. He literally believed that the human being is a part of the whole, called by us universe. He separates himself, his thoughts and feelings, as something separated from the rest, a kind of optical delusion of his consciousness. Okay, that's lots of blah, 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 blah. But what he basically says is, I will put the link on there if you guys would like. I got it from Psychology Today. And the blog post is called Pain, Loss, and Suffering. And then the title was What is Reality? And basically it's saying, what you perceive is what is your reality. So when we talk about reality today, and talk about escaping it, all of us are literally escaping what we perceive to be our reality. And so it's hard right now. People who do spiritual work are having a little bit of a bumpy time. So, I had a breakdown last week. I don't know if you were part of it or not.
I don't think I was, no.
Oh, you're going to have those come to Jesus moments. And it was one of those moments where I said, you know what? This is a joke. I'm so tired of this. So escaping reality is a must because sometimes it's so heavy. I saw Kelly put on here that she escapes reality by reading books.
That was Karen.
Did I say? Okay, and I even have readers on, guys. This is horrible. What did I say, Katie?
You said Kelly.
Kelly.
Which is another person in the chat room, so it wasn't that far off.
Okay, good. Yeah. Good. Reading books. Do you read, Tim?
Only when I have to. I've never been a real big reader. I have read, and this is going to tell you a lot about me. When I became a paranormal investigator is when I started reading. I've never read for fun.
True.
I've never read for fun. I would rather watch a show or watch a movie and kind of lose myself in that for an hour or two. My imagination isn't good enough to read a book and imagine what is happening. I just end up getting bored after 4 pages. So I am not a big book reader, but when I became a paranormal investigator, it was required. So yeah. I don't read for fun. I read for knowledge, and I read to, at the end of the day, not look stupid in what I'm doing. So, that's my, that's my,
cute.
that's my purpose with reading. There are people that love to read. Are you a reader?
I do, when I have time, I do. I have 9 million self-help books, but what do I love reading? I love reading witch stories and oh my goodness. I don't know if you remember the Babysitter's Club books, like in 6th grade, I binged through them. When I have time, I like to read, but I don't always have time. I do a lot of research. I don't know if that's considered reading, probably not how Karen is meaning it.
Yeah.
Braxton hates it, refuses.
Yeah, we're one and the same on that.
Yeah,
I do remember. I do remember as kids reading the Choose Your Own Adventure books.
Please, yes, I was going to say that. Go ahead.
I always played it safe, so my adventures were always really boring. But yeah, I guess that's just my personality. Like,
but most people don't know those, and they were about yay big, this thin, and it was, I mean, amazing. And it would say, if you want to go into the cave, go to page 83.
Yep.
If you want to run from the professor, go to page 5. And then I always would go to the page right when it was getting good, and it was like, you died.
And I was always reading those instead of my English homework or whatever it was.
Yes.
For those that have known me for a very long time, I was a horrible student. So bad.
Yeah.
Barely graduated high school. I would like to say that I'm not a stupid man.
No.
But back in my grade school, middle school, and high school days, that's kind of the impression I gave people because I just did not try. And my mom is listening to this and going, yeah, I knew it. I knew it all along. So I'm going off on a tangent, which is what I do. So stop me. And
no, you're great. You're good. You're good. We're fairly the same age. So a lot of the stuff, that we went through was kind of similar.
Yeah.
Reading is important. There's my Teresa. Reading is important. That's an amazing way to escape reality. I love doing vision boards. In fact, I haven't done one in years. And I think it's time. So you grab the magazines, you go through, you cut out things that speak to you, pictures, words, coupons, and you post them on a board. And a big white poster, whatever poster board, I put a white BMW with tan leather interior on there, and don't you know, I literally got it and didn't have to pay for anything. It was for a short period of time, but I realized they are way too small. I mean, I would go down 95 in South Florida, 90-degree weather with the heat on the seats and the AC going cold. I mean, I was going to try all the bells and whistles, but my point being, when you put stuff on the vision board, it's crafty, but it really tells the universe where your focus is.
Yeah, I'm sitting over here and it was 85 degrees in Wisconsin today, and I'm praying for winter. So when you talk about driving down the road in 90 degrees with the heat on the seats, that's crazy talk to me. I cannot stand the heat. So you will never see me move further south than, you'll never see me move south because I'm an only child and my mama needs me. So,
oh, that reminds me of Forrest Gump.
Yeah, and I need her. So, so I can't imagine like moving somewhere other than here. My mom's trying to make excuses for me not doing well in school. I love you, Mom.
Oh,
but yeah,
how cute.
So you do the poster board, and actually one of the reasons I think I was the one that said something about escaping reality when we were trying to come up with a show title.
Yeah.
And the biggest reason, and I've said this in other interviews that I've done, so people may have heard this before. When I was growing up, life wasn't always fantastic, and I'm going to blame a lot of that on my ex-stepfather. Because let's just be honest, he was an asshole. So I did. I found things to escape reality with, and the biggest thing for me was professional wrestling. As odd as that sounds, I got to escape reality for 1 hour every week. And I had to do that by getting up the earliest, because the rule in the house when he had his kids for the weekend was whoever got up early had control over the TV. So I had to make sure I was up at like 6 o'clock in the morning so I could watch wrestling at 11.
Determined.
Yes, and and the only way I could do that, because when you went to the bathroom, you also lost control of the TV. So I just had to sit there like a camel and not go to the bathroom, and then I got my 1 hour.
Nice.
And it was just, and I didn't realize it at the time. I just knew that when I watched this, it made me feel whole.
Good. Yeah.
And then I would go back to the shitty reality of him screaming at us. So, but yeah, I escaped with, the professional wrestling, and then sports has always been a huge part of my life. But even as an adult now, sports doesn't really allow me to escape reality, because there is so much other crap involved in sports. So that's not as good of an escape for me as it once was. But pro wrestling still is. And you ask any of my friends, and I will sit down, and now they've got like 20 hours of wrestling every week on TV.
No.
And not even I like it that much. So
whoa.
But that's my escape, and it always has been. And one of the reasons the podcast is named Escape Reality Podcast. So yeah, that was mine, and I'm trying to read some other people's reality escapes, and I'd like to know from some of those people why they feel they need to escape reality. It's not so much what you do to escape reality, but why. Why do you feel like you have to get away? And we can talk about that. We can, this is an open forum. We can share things, and I'm sure as we get deeper into this podcast and move forward, people are going to learn a lot about us that they didn't know.
True. Me too. That's why I keep showing up in my own life, because it's a show every day. So Teresa says that she likes to go out on her back deck and watch her birds. By the way, Teresa, there was a nest starting under my carport of baby. What are the birds that you have, the scissor tails? I just thought that was ironic and funny. Nature is incredibly therapeutic and an amazing anti-stress medicine. Nature has a way to just soothe the soul, depending on where you go.
Yeah, nature can either soothe your soul or realize that you need to get in better shape and be able to outrun a bear. So depends on what kind of nature you want.
That Tim does his first guided live meditation in the forest.
Yeah, I'm right there with Teresa though on the birds, because I go out and I have bird feeders in the front of the house, and every morning before I leave work, I make sure that they're full. And when I come around the corner, there's a bunch of birds there waiting because I'm the bird whisperer. And then I'll have a couple of rabbits and a chipmunk every now and then. So I'm the crazy guy that's out there talking to all of the animals in the morning and explaining to them that I'm just there to feed them and I'm not going to hurt them. So yeah, I'm that guy. So Teresa, I completely understand how that takes you to a more peaceful place.
It's, when we talk about escaping reality, the reality that most of us are living, most of us are actually just surviving, and that's become normal to us. It's actually become normal. So being in a space where you're taking care of a terminal parent or loved one, and that's your reality, especially if you're an empath or super, a highly sensitive person. It is a blow to the heart. In fact, a lot of times reality seems to be a blow to the heart or the gut.
Yeah. I try not to let people into the heart. That way they can't hurt it.
True, but life can be sneaky. People can be sneaky.
Sneaky. Do you watch movies to escape reality?
when I do, I love watching anything really scary. In fact, because of COVID, I've run out of everything to watch. In fact, all the horror shows that come up are now in India on my Netflix. Have you noticed that? Like, you'll go from everything American to like Indian horror movies, or no?
First of all, I'm the only guy in America that doesn't have Netflix.
God had to pair me with this one over here. How would that be? Yeah, that one.
Yeah, I don't have Netflix. I'm not a big horror movie guy. If I'm gonna sit down, this is gonna shock people. If I'm gonna sit down and give 2 hours of my time to a movie, it's either got to make me laugh or make me cry. So I'm a big comedy guy or romantic comedy. Like, I'll sit down and watch a rom-com for 2 hours and then believe I can walk to the grocery store and meet my next wife. It doesn't happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
A rom-com. I've never in 44 years heard that term, and I figured out what it meant.
Yeah, I think it's real. I heard it somewhere. I didn't make that up.
A rom-com.
But yeah, I'm not a big, especially in being in the paranormal field, a lot of people are shocked that I think I've seen one of the Friday the 13th movies, none of the Halloween movies. I don't think I've seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
I don't like the whole cut 'em up horror. I like the stuff based on reality. Interesting term. I like the suspenseful horror thrillers based on reality. Odd.
Yeah.
Interesting. So even watching movies, you're jumping into someone else's reality. Why are we living realities that we feel we have to escape from? That's what kills me. I mean, I can't even answer my own question, and I'm the intuitive. God keeps bringing me cats I really can't afford. And can I tell you the love, though? There's that little lesson. But, it's like heavy right now. It's really heavy, and things are changing. I'm noticing a lot of people who were able to afford certain things can't afford certain things anymore. We're still not out of everything that's just, kicked our rears from the last 2 years, from COVID. And so reality sometimes sucks the life out of us. Escaping it when we do it in healthy ways can be pretty life-saving.
Yeah, and I'm trying to rack my brain right now and think about the realities that I need to escape. The reality right now isn't that bad. It really isn't. And I guess that's good if I can't think of anything I need to get away from. I have 2 wonderful dogs, a little spirit dog running around, a cat, and great friends, and that's really all I need. When this whole stuff, this global bastard started, year and a half ago, everybody was upset that they had to stay in their houses. I loved it. I'm such an introvert. It's not even.
Oh, yes.
So
completely.
Being away from people was not tough for me. Being away from the general public, being away from my friends was difficult. Especially friends within the paranormal. And I don't know if you got this same feeling, April. When you're in the paranormal field and you start doing these events and you get invited to these events, you have a circle of friends from those events within the paranormal field. And all of a sudden it just stops. And you don't see them anymore. You can keep up with them on social media, but every time you open up social media, half the world is telling you that they hate you. So that might be the reality that I need to get away from time to time. Just put my phone down. But yeah, I'm trying to read my mom's comment here.
Right.
She does. She feeds the wildlife outside her house. I've seen like 12 raccoons and like 4 possums on her deck. And it's funny when she posts pictures of raccoons jamming marshmallows into their mouths. So yeah, that's my mom's escape. And they're wonderful, and she loves it, and it makes her happy. And a couple weeks ago, somebody went after her on her Facebook about her feeding these animals, and I had to tear that lady a new asshole because you don't mess with my mama. But yeah, do what makes you happy.
Was a rectal upgrade.
Yeah. If you don't, if it doesn't hurt other people, what is the harm in doing something that makes you happy?
Well, that's the problem is, when we just look at, we have a whole show, a whole podcast dedicated to escaping what we each believe is our reality. And a whole podcast dedicated. What happened?
I opened up my phone and it started screaming at me.
Oh my goodness.
I was not prepared for that.
I'd lost everything. Sometimes Spirit will start talking and I'm like, oh, this is good. Let me start doing this. No, thank you. They brought me back. We are a society, and innocently, those that have come before us, raised generation after generation of how to not be happy. So much so that when we are happy, those are the vacations or the mini moments where we've got to binge. I mean, a lot of people know my history, and growing up, there was divorce, which is pretty traumatic for kids. But mine was like the shit show from the Jerry Springer Show, and it was. I ended up going through a lot of emotional and verbal abuse, and as many adults, being an adult survivor of childhood trauma, sometimes we don't have the coping mechanisms to deal with reality. And that's where I'm finding myself now, is I'm having to learn as an adult that, I graduated high school, I've got some college. I was a surge tech, a medical assistant, an auditor. Really, I'm not a snowflake. I'd be a pretty snowflake, but anywho, I thought about white and glitter, but I have a choice, just like each person does. Do I want to keep living in that reality, scared and hurt, or do I want to figure this shit out? And sometimes there are things that happen to us, but I do believe they happen for us. And I do believe, like, we created a different reality tonight between 8 and 9. And it's good.
I hope it is. I hope people aren't bored out their mind.
No, I don't think so. I'm trying to go back and forth and entertain. And I think it's time that we learn how to be happy so that we can start to enjoy the things. Do you know how many times people go on vacation and I'll overhear them and they're like, I need another vacation. This is starting to become like a pattern. So we need to put our little thinking caps on and find healthier ways. Oh, that's what I was going to say, is because of all that, I discovered a nifty habit of eating. I remember being 10 years old, and my grandmother would have lunch stuff on the top of our refrigerator for lunches. And I would hide behind the refrigerator when there was arguing and fighting. And I would just down the Little Debbie cakes. And let me tell you, I never realized it was anxiety. So escaping reality for me is learning how to be an adult in the right way, the way I want to be, not the way I was shown how to be. Was that too deep?
That wasn't too deep. And in some ways I can relate to that. Growing up, there was a lot of arguing, a lot of yelling and screaming, a lot of alcohol.
Yeah.
And again, my stepdad was just this wonderful, wonderful guy. My former stepfather, my current stepfather is a saint.
Yay.
My stepfather, when I was growing up, though, was everything you would think a person shouldn't be. As far as emotional availability, there was none. Mm-hmm. And just there were arguments nearly every night. And one of the things that I was a very skinny kid, and when I moved out, I discovered food, and then I think in the course of like 3 or 4 years, I gained about 65 pounds, and I ended up being this full-grown man. But things that I did to escape reality or cope with reality, I remember times where, and my mom might remember this, there was a giant argument in the middle of the night. And the only way I could find to end this argument was to go downstairs into the bathroom and swallow a bunch of chloroseptic cough medicine, which was red.
Yeah.
And then pretend to vomit red. And then that got them to think about something else. and they stopped arguing for the night.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like telling all these stories just because I don't want my mom to feel guilty. But it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy for either one of us because she was in a situation that was not healthy for her. There was physical and emotional abuse, and I just wish I would have gotten big enough early enough to put a stop to it. Once I filled out and turned into this big man boy that I am today, then I had a talk with my former stepfather and let him know that under no circumstances would any of that happen again. But yeah, I went the opposite way with food. I didn't eat. I would eat a lot, but my metabolism back then was outstanding, and I would give anything to have that back. But I don't remember eating just to cope. But I can certainly understand it. I mean, it's not something that's completely foreign to me, and I can't wrap my head around. It's just not a way that I did it. But yeah, escaping reality involved finding ways to quell situations. And then, of course, professional wrestling, which we both love, April.
Listen, I like the old stuff when Hogan was still yellow.
Yeah, two shows we've done, and both shows we have talked about Hogan and his yellow shorts.
Because it was the most feel-good experience ever. Paul, what's his name? I mean, Andre the Giant, the original Andre the Giant, I got to see. My God, Brutus the Beefcake. What was it? Brutus the Beefcake, right?
Brutus the Barber Beefcake.
Okay. Animal Steel. What's his name? George Animal Steel.
Yes.
Yes, that one reminded me of my dad because he had hair. I'm part Italian, so my dad had hair all over his chest and his back. And when he would come out wrestling, I was like, "What the hell?" But I went with my dad. He took me down to the Jackie Gleason Center, and it was amazing. It was great. To me, it was so real. Now it's so commercialized. Everyone has a side bitch, you know. I missed the Four Horsemen and the woo, you know.
I have no comment on side bitches. My mom's in the chat room, so there will be no side bitch talk coming from me.
Unless it's a rescue dog.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And for the record, no side bitches.
Yes.
None.
Yes.
No. So getting away from side bitch talk. So you mentioned horror movies, and I mentioned rom-coms. Have you ever seen the movie With Honors?
I did not. No.
You need to search it out.
Okay.
It is a wonderful movie. Makes me cry every single time. And I bet you, you ever seen those posts on social media where they're like, what's a movie that you could watch 50 times and never get sick of? That's always my answer.
Yeah.
I believe there was that's how old the movie was. I was still living at home when this movie came out, and I had it on DVR or DVD. And I would watch that movie every night before I went to bed.
I was like that with Rocky Horror Picture Show in high school. I watched it every morning before school, and I watched it every day when I got home for a year.
So in a way, those two movies were our way to cope.
Yeah.
Because subconsciously, we needed those movies for some reason.
It is interesting. No matter what, escaping reality is another form of we will always be called to our well-being. Always. It will be our free will to choose a detour. I love what your mom said. I am sorry I put you through that, Tim. I think about that yet today. And this reminds me of what my mother tells me every single day. And when I was little, I couldn't understand it because it was a lot. You know, you'd get protective of your mom. But I realized that adults can only give us what they have to give. And as each generation gets older, awareness grows and grows, and we've got access to different resources that my grandmother didn't have. You know, my mom's mom suffered from bipolar disorder and depression, and in the 60s, you receive electric shock. So, you know, that kind of reality is a tough one to escape when you don't have a lot of the mental resources and access to help that we have now. So I don't want your mom to have guilt because she still is giving you the best she has to give.
Well, definitely, and I do want to address that a little bit. It hurts me that she feels like she has to say she's sorry for that.
Yeah, no.
It wasn't her fault, and I'll say, and I'll explain why it wasn't her fault. I believe that she ended up with Steve when I was about 9. So, and I think they were divorced right about the time I was 21, somewhere in there. But she put up with a lot of stuff to make sure that I had I don't want to say stable home because it was never a home to come home to. But she put up with a lot of stuff to make sure I had a roof over my head. You know, she was a single mom without a job and really relied on him to provide for us. And a lot of times I think she stayed because she thought she had to.
My mom too,
and to protect me. So please don't ever apologize for that again, Mom. Just please don't ever do that. Because
what a sweet lady.
There is no reason for you to apologize. You put up with hell for 12 years so that I had somewhere to go.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. So when I talk about my childhood, it is not to make my mother feel bad about it. It's just to point out that, boy, did she put up with a lot of shit. And she did that for me. So maybe I'm the one that should be apologizing.
No, you learned how to be strong. You know, when we look at our moms, single moms, my mom, you know, when my parents they got separated and it was messy. My mom was a waitress at Denny's and she couldn't pay the bills. And my dad at the time wasn't paying the child support. So they turned electric off. And I remember no matter what, my mom getting up every day and putting on the brown uniform, and then she'd always bring home Mother Butler pie. That right there in the midst of all the chaos and the pain, I mean, I've seen moms crack. To me, that's strength, you know? So the fact that your mom did this is, I mean, technically you are thriving. You're thriving, you know.
I'd like to think I'm doing okay.
You are. You're not. You know. You have insurance. Your eyes are healthy. Your teeth are all okay.
They're really not, and I'm kind of worried. I'm kind of worried about this HD camera, and then we're going to get too big of a look into my mouth.
Oh.
Yeah, my teeth are getting old. It's what's
How old are you?
46.
Okay, so I'm 44, and they are. This is where we start falling apart, and that's the reality. So this is pre-golden years, if I'm correct. We have like 40s, 50s, maybe 60s, right? Then the golden years.
Why do the golden years have to be like
not golden?
I imagine when I'm 70, by the time I'm 70, the only thing I'm going to have to look forward to is like a sponge bath at the home. That's just how I see my life going. But yeah, I just like, I'm trying to enjoy everything I have now because and this is going to be deeper than the show intended to be. I'm an only child and I'm cool with that. I'm an only child. If I lose my mom and my stepdad now, I'm not real close to any of my family. So there really is like I don't want to be a burden to like like who am I going to have as my, you know what I'm getting at? It's like when I become old and there's nobody to take care of me, am I going to tell Todd that he has to take care of me? That doesn't seem fair. So that seeps into my head and makes me think about my own mortality but yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. And then I read my mom's comment, and I love you too, Mom.
She's great. She's great.
She's fantastic. And the reason I get to do Potographs is because she watches Ray and Molly.
Absolutely.
You know, and before that, she watched Murray and Molly, and she's just as big a part of this whole thing as anyone would be that's involved with Potographs. I'm excited that she gets to go to the one in September and meet Dustin Perry and all the other fantastic people there.
Yay.
So she gets to experience some of that finally. But yeah, anyway, I'm going off on a tangent again, and we've only got 18 minutes left of the show.
Go over a little.
Yeah. Yeah, we are in charge.
We are. But yes, so one of the best things about 2021 and 2020 is it's teaching, meaning we're in the present moment, so it's not pretty or comfortable, but it's teaching many of us how to, whether we like it or not, how to be vulnerable. And you were just vulnerable. And change cannot happen unless we are vulnerable. And the truth is, most people watching, whether it's live or recorded, you've had some shit happen and it doesn't feel good, but it moves you and it will transform you from the inside out. And sometimes I feel it's supposed to. Some of the most beautiful experiences in life only could have happened because of the bad ones.
Yeah, I wouldn't change a thing that's happened in my life, because I think if you start removing history, it changes the way your life ends up. You know, the things that we've gone through, and I don't want to make this just about me, because you've gone through some horrible things yourself. But they all made you who you were, though.
Yes.
And I wouldn't want to go back and relive it. No. I will tell you that, but I don't want to change the past, because it all ends up making you who you are and molding you into the person that you are. And I think I don't want to toot my own horn, but I'm going to toot it for the both of us. We've gone through some stuff and we came out the other side, and I'd like to think we're good people.
Yeah.
And the things that we went through, we could have took a different path.
Agreed. And, I totally agree.
So, made some of the, I get to do all this Potograph stuff. You get to do your work with mediumship, which, by the way, if anybody's watching this, April is incredible. She really is.
Thank you.
And if you get a chance to get a reading from April, it's worth it. And you should do that. And that's my plug for you.
Thank you.
Why don't you tell people where they can go and do that?
Thank you. It is not for the faint of heart, and people who are mediums and do this on a daily, whether they do it for a living or they can't turn it off. It's helped me deal with my mortality a little better. It has helped me find hope a lot easier. The more I tap into my intuition, the more I find miracles and people, and it's pretty powerful. So nonetheless, it is really what I do is how I escape reality. In all my readings, Spirit's talking to you through me, and I'm like, damn, that was flipping cool. Where are my flipping guides? Why are you guys so quiet all the time? So I am doing a special right now because we are in the energy right now of the Lionsgate portal. People are like, why does she have to keep bringing in the weird shit? Because, Mom, I'm sorry. I know your mom's watching. Are
you kidding? My mom swears more than I do.
Good. Okay. But I lost where I was going. Oh, yes. Thank you. I'm doing a special. The Lionsgate portal is a time annually that happens on the 8th day of the 8th month, which is August 8th. And it's literally a 7-day period of time. August 8th, this Sunday, it's a period where there's alignment. I'm not a guru. I just know when Spirit says, hey, I got the stars and the planets moving in this direction for you, because this is the energy you've asked for, you better use it. I'll try anything at this point. You know what I mean? We've got to be willing to try what we've never tried to get something we've never had. So the Lionsgate portal really opens up our intuition. It opens up, it accelerates, it's conducive for creating the reality you want. And so to utilize this, because this is the time to do a reading, 25% off 1-hour readings, and that code is all capitals. And I don't know if Christina, you could type that in for me, por favor. It's all capitals, portal power, because power is really all we have control over, which, thank you for the plug, by the way. But
No
I'll
problem.
I'll add it in the link or something. But thank you so much. I love this girl so very much. Reality has helped me learn how to forgive certain people, places, and things, because I've realized through hardship, through healing, through doing the work, that some of the people that have hurt us, we have a flawed system, right? So people that have mental health issues or need support may not always have easy access. I know that so many people have health insurance, but the copays are so high. And right now, a lot of people can't even afford the copay. So mental health often is neglected first. It's easy. You know, you've got to pay bills. You got to go to work. You got to go to work. Exhaustion, stress sets in. Stress is the #1 killer right now. So it is so powerful to, where was I going with that? I start going and then I'm reading and I lose the spin. Yes. So I look back at my dad, and my dad had 4 kids and had had anger, lots of anger, and didn't know how to handle things. But on the same token, I think that there were certain things that were not addressed. And I find that so many people can't handle reality because innocently, just like people are diabetic, or, you know, people have blonde hair, or people have, you know, more prone to runny noses. Some of us, most of us, deal with a low vibration of depression on a daily. And it becomes, dysfunction becomes how we function, and we know nothing else. So, Christina, thank you so very, very much. So escaping reality, I think, is extremely important, but how we do it is what will transform us.
I just realized while you were talking that my listening face looks a lot like resting asshole face. Because I was just watching you on the side of my screen, and I glanced back at me, and people watching were probably like, why is he so angry right now? But I wasn't. I was just listening intently. And apparently when I do that, I just look like I'm mad at the world. Couple of things, following up on what you talked about. First of all, I've never been able to forgive. I just have never been able to do that. As you could tell by the way I talked earlier in the show, I still have hatred for my stepfather. If he was to walk in front of me right now, I would probably punch him in the nose. But that's just how I deal with anger. I should edit that. I don't punch people in the nose on a daily. Just people that have hurt my mother. But yeah, I've never been able to forgive people, and I've always been the kind that if you let me down once, and I'm not talking about, hey, I told you I was going to go to that movie with you, but then we couldn't go, that type of thing. I'm talking about a big letdown, a big moment where you just decided, no, this isn't for me, and I've never been able to forgive people for that, and it's been a one and done. And it's nothing I've really ever tried to work on either. Other than that, I was going to mention to bring a little humor to the show. The Queen of England's not listening tonight.
Yay! People, this will forever be our mascot then. I should probably get like a little ding 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 ding. Yeah, that was a little bit of a reality that was shocking, which kind of reminds me, my business cell is an 843 number out of South Carolina, which I've had for years. Something is going on, and maybe some other people may have had this happen, but it's like 20 843 numbers come in a group text, and it's like they're passing it around, and I block them all, and then the very last one is a new number. So, I mean, it's like crazy weird stuff, and I stopped saying stop, but the point was that you just said something, and it made me you said something funny.
Queen of England.
Thank you. So, anywho, that is my point. Is there's little trolls out there, and Taylor Swift has a great song about people that are haters. I just love her. All right.
I can't stand that song.
No. Oh my God.
I don't know how many times I've posted this on social media. If you're older than 16 and you use the term haters.
Oh no. Oh no.
Yeah.
Please. Have you ever seen Miranda Sings? Please.
I don't even know what that is.
Oh my gosh. She's a YouTube personality. I don't think she does her anymore, but she's a comedian, and she created this character with big red lips, and she's very special, and she wears these red pants, and on the back it says haters back off. Anywho, I think I like brainless, stupid things because it helps me escape reality. I think my brain and my body are on go all the time vibrationally. So watching Miranda Sings, or oh my God, I found this new person on TikTok. I don't know if you saw on Instagram. She's funny. The thing that I love about her, she's chunky, she's cute, but she posts her sleepwalking. Poor girl.
I follow her on TikTok.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I have not had a guilty pleasure like that in years.
Oh, she is wonderful. And you know what? I think our first guest should be her. We should reach out to her.
Yes. This made my day.
No, she is wonderful.
Oh my God. And she's a big paranormal person.
Yes.
I love her.
No, we are on the same page there.
That's so funny.
You talked about mindless, stupid things. So
yes, Selena.
They make this product called Liquid Ass.
Oh.
And you basically spray it, and it smells like somebody has defecated wherever you are. And I used that on Todd on the way to Milwaukee.
No.
And the entire car was beyond horrible.
You could have fed 3 children in Africa with the same amount of money you spent on that.
I could have, but they're not my children. So, so we had a good laugh about it afterwards, because I let him in on the joke that it was actually not me. So then when we went golfing this past weekend, and we had my cousin Jason and my buddy Tony in the car, and Tony doesn't even know this, so if he listens to this, cat's out of the bag. I squirted this liquid ass, and Tony had this wonderful reaction. It was disgusted. And just going on and on and on. And Todd and I got the greatest laugh out of this because it was stupid and funny to us. So I still have it in the car. So if you're in the car with me at any moment and it starts to smell foul.
Does it expire? Because hopefully by next March it'll be gone.
No, I think I'll probably reload.
No,
I think get some more, and it'll be cold, so we can't open the windows. So that'll be nice.
So this is a no judgment zone, everybody. It's a no judgment zone. But if you want to buy that, it's you do you. Like I have to tell everyone, I will be wearing a foil hat at one point or another on this show. It is. I know it's comedic, but to me, it is something that is so perfect to shield our brains. I mean, really, technically, it would be the funniest flippin' show if we both had foil hats on. It would, and you don't think so, and I know so.
It would make me sweat profusely. I know this because we played a board game, and it's called, what the hell is it called? Quelf. It's called Quelf. And we had to make hats out of tinfoil and wear them. And I was sweating so bad with this hat on. It was awful. It was so awful. But if it means that much to you, I will wear a flippin' tinfoil hat.
I just think it would be, I think people can relate. You watch Celeste Barber. People on Instagram watch her. She had a great well, you're not on Netflix. She had a great Netflix stand-up show. She's the one, and you've seen her, where she'll post the picture of the model or the video, and then she reenacts it. And she's an everyday girl. You've not? So like when the models are like doing crazy things in roller skates, and then she comes out in her bra and underwear and roller skates. Anywho, I love her. Great, because it's real life. You know, I mean, I think the foil hat is important because the truth is, I do not know anybody in this world right now that really knows what the hell's going on. Really, collectively.
And if they claim to, they're lying to you.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm certain of in this world is that somewhere along the line, it became okay to hate each other for no reason.
Right.
And it's disappointing because a lot of friendships and even family are being torn apart by the most petty stuff. And we talked about social media and escaping reality. There's far too much reality in social media. Far too much.
Yeah.
And it's far too easy to sit behind a keyboard or behind your phone and run your mouth with no consequences, no chance that somebody's going to reach through that phone or that laptop and slap you upside the head and tell you to be a better human being.
Yeah.
There is no better example of that and we all have local news channels that have their Facebook pages. Mm-hmm. Go to one of those channels and just go to one of their posts and read through their 500 or 600 comments and like how people can be so cruel to complete strangers is beyond me. Yeah. And I had to actually go and unfollow them all. Just because when that stuff came up on my timeline, it just irritated me. Like some people, no matter what side of a debate you're on, make your point and move on. You don't need to name call. You don't need to. I guess the name calling is the biggest thing for me, and the threats, and we both, come from a time where there was no social media. If you wanted to hang out with your friends, you went outside.
There was yo mama, mama, and
I think a lot of people are missing out on that human interaction now. And I'm not trying to say that I'm better than anybody because I'm one of the worst offenders when it comes to social media. I constantly have my phone in my hand. But yeah, I think if one day it all went away, I think it'd be okay.
As far as social media going all away?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think so many people have literally created two different lives. The one online, the one they want the world to see, and then the one they're really living. So that's not going to be healthy. But I think social media can be used for whatever you want to use it for. I think that a lot of people live in Facebook. They literally live in it. I mean, live in it. Unfortunately, I don't know what everybody's doing online, and I feel bad. I don't see every post. But on the same token, I've been doing mediumship readings for 12 years, and there's not one loved one that comes through that says you've unfriended me and I'm pissed. Not one. So, at some point we have to remember to live the life we're living. We've got to seek out those things that feel good. Like you said, watching With Honors made you feel good. I used to 90210 was not my favorite, but when a lot of the shit was hitting the fan, I loved all the holiday shows. It made me feel like I still had an innocent part of my childhood. You know, all the Halloween episodes, all the Christmas stuff, all the Christmas music. You know, it's funny because as adults, we go back to the things when we remember the things that did feel good. Those are the good parts of our childhood. Those are the good parts of our childhood. But I love talking about feelings and reality. I just do. It's very fascinating. If I finished college, I know this sounds horrible. People go, we'll go back to school. Please, I have 9,000 kittens that God keeps depositing on my back door. But I think I would have been like a psychologist or a researcher, or you know, the human brain does fascinate me, but more than anything, I don't think most people realize how powerful they really are. And that includes letting go of the trolls or letting go of the drama. You know, drama creates nothing but stress. You know that some people are addicted to drama.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely. And I can relate when you say that sometimes you miss things.
Yeah.
I'm swimming around with 4,900 seconds on Facebook. There's no way for me to keep up on all of it.
No.
You know,
and I love like, everybody, but
yeah, they'll be like, "Didn't you see me post that?" I'm like, "No, I'm sorry, I didn't." It kind of just like random, and it keeps me up to date with like 25 people, and you know, the rest of them are just kind of a number. And I'm sorry to put it that way, but it's kind of what it is. And creating an alternate life on Facebook. I'm far more opinionated in real life than I am on Facebook. I censor myself quite a bit because I got to think about autographs for pooches.
Right.
So I don't get into arguments on Facebook over frivolous stuff. I really don't get into arguments about it in real life either, but I'm more opinionated. And in my circle of friends, I have opinions that I will express. But I'm not going to do that in a forum where there's people just ready to pounce on you and use that against you. And it's just not worth it to me to have autographs for pooches suffer because I needed to get my opinion out there about what's going on in current events. It's just, but some people are just addicted to that. And every day they have to comment on it. So Beth is actually my neighbor, and she says, you tell it like it is. I hope I do. But you know, I hope I do. I hope I'm real. Todd once told me one day, he's like, there's Facebook Tim and there's normal Tim. And I was like, what does he mean by that? You know, and maybe it's like in real life, I swear like a sailor, and like when I play sports, I get angry at myself. But I don't know that I'm so much different than I am on Facebook. So I'll have to ask him someday, what the hell do you mean by that, buddy? Because I don't know what he means. I
try to be I don't know. I think the biggest struggle in my whole entire life is just exploring myself. So, you know, every day that I find out something new and I chisel away at my authenticity, I'm like, ain't gonna let that shit go anywhere. So you know, what you see is what you get. I might be a little more rough around the edges with the F word in reality than online. I'll fight for the underdog anywhere.
I do. This is going to sound horrible. But I don't really like people, April. And I'm forced to like them on Facebook. But
that's horrible. Now all 4,975 people are going to be tossing and turning tonight.
No, I don't think they'll care. But no, I just like in real life, like if I go to the grocery store, I get in there and get out. I don't want to talk to anybody. I certainly don't want the cashier asking me how my day is going. I don't want this person commenting on the things I'm buying.
Oh, I do. I want to talk to everybody.
That like there's no We should do a show on pet peeves, because biggest pet peeve for me is going through a grocery store checkout line and having like 8 items and the cashier commenting on 7 of them. Because I'm socially awkward anyway. And I have anxiety when I'm around people that I don't know.
Yeah.
So the last thing I want you to do is comment on everything that I've bought, so the people behind me can also comment.
Right.
I just want to get in there and get out and be done with it. So I don't have a whole lot of patience with people. And maybe that's what Todd means. That's probably what he means, is because I'm very impatient in real life when it comes to people I don't know. Like, I'm not outwardly mean to them. I would just rather that they leave me alone and I leave them alone, type thing.
I wish I was like that.
And Beth is watching right now. She's in the chat room, and I think that she would probably agree with this. You never really see me outside unless I'm cutting the lawn or taking the dogs out. I'm not a real social person.
Or doing a huge event.
Yeah. So like if something happened one day where shit went down, and they went to my neighbors and they were like, "Hey, what was Tim like?" He kind of kept to himself, which kind of scares me, because that's what they say about serial killers. But yeah,
she actually is not saying any of that. She's talking about bodily functions.
Yeah. Well, see, I don't really talk, like, I used to be worse with that on Facebook, believe it or not.
Yeah.
And I kind of held back a little bit, but Beth says that's right, so she understands what I'm saying.
So you carry around liquid smells. You don't like people. You don't want to talk to people unless you really know them. Even if you know them, you may not like them.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's I guess that's Tim. I just like to be by myself. I like to keep to myself, if that makes sense. But when I go to events and stuff, I will be friendly.
And you are friendly.
I'm not going to go out of my way to be mean to somebody, but I'm also not going to go out of my way to talk to somebody I don't know.
But that makes sense, because when you are sensitive to energy, when so much shit has happened to you, and you have to think in terms of energy. When shit happens, there's energy there. Emotions are filled with energy. I've never seen a spirit stay behind and haunt a location other than because of some sort of emotion. Honestly, I'm not talking residual, but any time that there's like a haunting, there's some sort of emotion present. And normally, and I'm not talking about when the grandfather comes back to get the kids' attention, but I'm talking about a legitimate, I ain't going to the other side, I'm earthbound. So emotions are really important. And when we're growing up and there's so much chaos and shit around us, especially as a kid, sometimes it's easier when we're so sensitive to shut down, to try to block it out. I haven't been out of the house literally in 3 days. I work from home, but with the cats, I could sit on the porch and breathe fresh air, but that after a while will get to your mental health. It's important to take care of yourself. It's really important to take care of yourself. So you being quiet and staying away from people is sometimes how you take care of yourself. I would maybe work on the resting asshole face, because body language is an important indicator of where you are. But
I'm reading the comments from my neighbor, and I'm laughing. We talked earlier about how far we've come, and people that know my history. Up until, a year and a half ago, almost 2 years, I didn't even want to stay alive, and here I am almost 2 years later. And tomorrow will be the 1 year anniversary that they took a toe from me. And, but I fought like hell to stay here. I really did. I had to make some lifestyle changes.
Yeah.
And make sure that my health was good enough that I was going to still be here. So yeah, I think we're always improving ourselves, or at least
Yeah.
we should be trying to. And my aha moment was last year, a year ago tomorrow, where basically it was, okay, what do you want to do here? Do you want to waste away and lose your entire foot, lose your leg, lose your freedom? Or do you want to make a change? Tim, 2 years ago, I don't think I would have made that change. In fact, I know I wouldn't have. We've gone over, so I might as well tell another story. I found out I had type 2 diabetes in September of 2019, I believe.
Yeah.
And I had a phone conversation with my mom, which I regret. She got on the phone, and of course, she was very concerned. And I told her, I said, I'm not going to take the medication. Because I don't want to take medication the rest of my life. And she cried and cried and cried and begged me to take this medication. And I didn't. And the result was a hospital stay in August of 2020, which I lost a toe. I've taken my medication every day since then. And I've changed my diet. I've changed the things that I put into my body. I could still do better. But yeah, it was a moment where I really had to look in the mirror and go, okay, what do I want to do? And I made a promise to Murray that I wouldn't do anything to hurt myself.
Good.
And I was hurting myself without even knowing it. So now I take, 6 pills a day. And, Molly's got to take her medication. So her and I take our medication together.
Aww.
And actually in the morning, she's the one that reminds me we have to take our medication because she'll stand by the counter and wait for me.
Smart.
Yeah. So life, life has a way of punching you in the face.
It does. It has definitely, reality has a way of getting your attention. So with that being said, when it has your attention, are we escaping it because it's healthy and we're trying to survive? Or are we going to escape it to find ways to change our reality? That's really what makes us, I call us hybrids. Spirit said last week, you've never been here before in body going through these kinds of changes. This is the first time all of you globally have been here as a species. And I'm like, what? So, we are hybrids. We're in this human experience, but we're so aware. We're way too aware, and we have options. So, I want to wrap, and I want to thank everybody for being with us tonight, being a part of our reality. It was pretty cool.
I hope people enjoyed it. And next week, I don't know what we're doing, but maybe we mix in a little paranormal next week. I
would love that. I would love it.
And then we got to reach out to
Selena.
Yes. And, see if she'll come on and give us some of her time. It'd be fantastic to have her on the show, and we could all get a good laugh. And basically, it fits with the name of the show, because there's a lot of people that escape reality by watching her videos.
And she puts her. She has used words that my Southern family from Augusta, Georgia used to use. So I'm just like, woo! But she is herself. She is authentic as authentic gets. And some of her biggest struggles, she actually makes light of it and posts it. And you've got to watch those sleepwalking videos, please. In fact, that's how you can escape. You know what? Follow people, watch people who make light of their reality, the people who are getting through and not, they don't have a twitch or, they're okay. I love you all. She does funny dad jokes too. Yes, she does. Yes. She's just great and she's cute. And I just think she's so funny. All righty. Tim, are you good?
I'm good. And I think we should end the show how we always end the show.
I agree.
I hope you all have a great week. Thank you for joining us tonight. And always remember that it's okay
to not be okay. Is that what we agreed on? Or am I messing it up every week?
No, okay. That's what we agreed on.
Yeah, because it's true. when we're not okay, we could reach out and it's okay to be there. I mean, you know how many people don't cry and it's the soul cleansing itself. So unless it's an all-day thing and then you just take antidepressants like me, and that's wonderful. All righty. I will talk to you guys later. Thank you for being a part of. I have to get an exit now. Maybe we'll collaborate.
Yeah, I'll throw some ideas at you, but again, when it comes to editing this stuff, I'm useless.
Well, you help. You do help. It's a big thing. Help is a big thing. And I'm learning how to receive it. I don't know how to receive help. Imagine that. When you're a people pleaser, you know, you may not have patience. I think I have too much patience, way too much patience. You know, learning how to really accept help is challenging. So, all right. I'm going to go. I'm going to go see my babies, my fur babies, my big baby. And I don't know, maybe have vanilla ice cream or something. All right. You guys have a good night. Tim, you have a good night. And we will see you next Tuesday at 8 p.m. Central to escape reality.